Also, so good is the kerning on row 13, column C in the spreadsheet.
I don't even have the spreadsheet open. I forgot about it. Let me open this shit, y'all. Also, got lightning on my body.
Hey, ZTE gave Scottie Pippen a ZTE phone with the Bulls logo engraved on the back of it.
I'm so jealous of Scottie Pippen. For more reasons than just that, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, they're, Scottie Pippen. I mean, he's Scottie Pippen,
Also, ZTE brought a Bulls championship trophy to display in their booth, just because.
God. Did they really?
They did.
One of the Bulls' 6 NBA Finals trophies?
Yep.
I don't know why they would have done that when they could have brought one of the Cavs 2 Eastern Conference Championship trophies.
Actually, ZTE sponsors the Cavs, the Bulls.
ZTE needs to figure out which side of that line they're on.
The Warriors
right now.
And the Kings.
ZTE, oh my God. There are 3 really good teams named there and 1 shitty one.
I think it's not the Kings.
The Kings. Oh my God. Without DeMarcus Cousins, the Kings are absolutely nothing.
Maybe it wasn't the Kings. It was somebody. There's four basketball teams. They're the official phone of, which is okay, great. All right, let's. This is. Oh yeah, it's the Rockets.
That's the Rockets. Okay, well at least they got James Harden.
It's not the Kings. False information. ZT does not.
That would have seemed like a good idea before the season started, so I'll give them that one.
What, the Rockets?
Yeah.
Oh God, what happened to them? What happened? I'm serious. Like it has something to do with that Kardashian chick and James Harden.
Maybe could be.
I mean, all right, I am socialing us, and at that point we will be gootin' to go.
Gootin'.
And I'm gonna.
I'm just working on my James Harden beard.
You know, I really am. Like,
hold on, guys. I need to mute my gold 64 GB Nexus 6P.
David,
you're so opulent.
I have words for you right now, but I don't want to say them on this podcast.
I have words. The words are, give me the 6P.
Oh, my words were, I'm not going to say them. I'm not.
Oh, come on. You can say them after the show.
Yeah, after the show. After the show.
All right, we are recording, and otherwise good to go.
All right. Welcome to the Android Police Podcast, your weekly audio source for all things Android. It is Friday, January 8th, 2016. We are coming with a special CES edition of the podcast, and I'm your host, Matthew Smith.
I'm David Ruddock.
I'm Cameron Summerson.
I'm Liam Spradlin.
All right, I referred to the show as special in the opening, so we've got a lot to live up to, guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is like the 3rd special week in a row.
It is.
I mean,
I wanted to keep it going, so.
It depends on what definition of special we're using.
The definition that allows us to say it's special, whatever one that is.
So the least offensive version of the word special, or?
Yes, Cameron. Yes.
Okay.
That one.
I was going to say we may.
Otherwise, every episode would be special.
I think it's special, like unique, like a snowflake, and I think that all of our episodes are unique, like a snowflake.
Okay, I'm pretty sure the first time you said snowflake, like you completely left out the N.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
That didn't happen.
You guys want to talk about some CES stuff? I feel like
we should talk about some CES stuff.
Let's do it. Let's do the damn thing already.
Let's do it. So, phones. That's mostly what this show's about. There were some phones at CES this year. Huawei had a couple, and let's be honest. There was some mid-range and low-end stuff that's not going to come to the U.S. So we're not going to really spend any time on that. But the Mate 8, the Huawei Mate 8, which probably also won't come to the U.S., but looks like a pretty solid phone nonetheless. David, you've got one, and Liam, you've got one, and I don't know if I'm jealous. So you guys should just let me know if I'm jealous.
The fingerprint scanner is really, really fast. Really fast.
See, I've actually found the Note 5's fingerprint reader to be really fast. Is it faster?
It's faster, yeah. This is the
Wow, okay.
fingerprint scanners were like, gunslingers in the Old West. The Huawei Mate 8 would
Is it
be.
so fast? Do you feel
I don't
compelled to
know.
write an article saying that it's too fast?
It's too fast. It's too fast, everybody. I should write an article that it is very fast, though, because then it'll be like, I want the very fast fingerprint reader. It has enhanced ridge detection, everybody, just to let you know,
Wow.
for better ridges.
I did not know that.
Superior ridges.
So it would be good at picking up ruffles then.
Yes, it would.
Ruffles.
The R is for ridges.
Ruffle to unlock.
That's the episode title. Just don't let me forget it. Other things about the phone, they played up the camera a little bit. So the fingerprint scanner is 100% faster than the previous generation Mates, which is, I think, similar to one Nexus 6P. So it's like twice as fast as the Nexus 6P, probably. And everything else I've seen, it's still Huawei software, which is not very good. But, it runs Android 6.0, and it's fast.
Does the fingerprint reader only work when the screen is on? Or do you have to, or can you just use it to turn the screen on?
No, you can just touch it and it turns on.
Yep, very quickly.
That's good.
I will say that I've been testing the Mate 8 for a couple weeks now and giving them feedback on the UI, and it seems like they're very receptive to that. So, like, many people, if not most people, are not too happy about the UI, but it seems like Huawei wants to fix it.
Maybe but it's been this way for so long. I would be very.
That's true. However, they yeah, they are I don't know. I was gonna say something, but I don't know if I'm allowed to, so never mind.
Well, we will look out for future updates to the device to see if it changes things, or if a new flagship device later this year unveils a new software experience.
Yes.
So those are possible. Physically, I got mine's space gray. They actually call it space gray. I guess Apple does not hold a good trademark on that color. If it even is trademarkable, I don't know.
They should patent it.
They should.
The color of space.
The gold is champagne gold, and the other one's just silver or whatever. So
Silver or whatever.
yeah, silver or whatever.
That's the one that I have.
Cody's was also silver or whatever. They gave everybody who showed up to CES Mate 8, so that was nice of them. Yeah, and maybe a Gold Nexus 6P. I don't know. Anyway, just nothing to see here.
How about that Gold Nexus 6P, David? How's it? Is it fantastic? How does it feel
good
on the face?
Pretty good.
What does the face feel on it?
I kind of want to put it in the case. Nexus 6P is quite sharp.
Ooh, I just got the adopted case for mine, and it is fine. It feels kind of like
I just got it, and it's fine.
Feels kind of like I'm like putting my finger in like too deep to do the fingerprint thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like that. Maybe I would just want like a bumper case for the edges or something. I don't know.
That would be good.
Yeah, I just haven't decided on that yet. So yeah, that's the Mate 8. It has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, so it should last with those mode. It should last approximately forever. So give or take, it's impressive. The screen gets really bright. It's an LCD. It's really fast. It's a new Kirin 950 chipset on a 16 nanometer process. So the chip is dumb fast. The one small not flagshipy thing about it is the screen, despite being big, is 1080p, not quad HD, which on a screen this size you probably won't notice it too much, but you could notice it theoretically. And the LCD itself isn't like the best LCD ever. It's good, but it's not great. I haven't had much else chance to play with it though. Oh, and the camera thinks everything's pink. I've noticed that. So that's good.
It shifts to blue or green.
I don't know. I don't know what that means. What the output results are more pink than they should be.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the camera thinks it's pink, so it shifts away from pink.
Oh no, it thinks something everything's something else. So especially in dim or indoor lighting situations, everything gets real pink real fast, and not like if something's broken pink, but like it's just not doing it right pink. So that kind of pink.
Well, the good news is that it's not broken.
Yep. So they'll probably fix it at some point, I guess.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. All right, so so you also got to play around with that. How do you say this? Letv.
No, it's dumber than that. So LETV, you just say all the letters.
Okay, well then they should be capital because that's.
Oh, we maybe talked to them about that, and they don't care. So it's just that's how it is. Obviously we did not, they let us play with the phone, and I think some people were able to sneak benchmarks onto it to try to see how fast it was, but it benchmarked really crappy apparently. So I don't think it's done being optimized yet. The phone itself will probably never come to America, even though LETV, when we asked that, was like, we can't say, and I'm like, it's never coming to America. The phone's gigantic. It's 6.3 inches, and it's just nobody's going to buy that here. It doesn't have the Google Play Store on it. It's just for China. Even though LETV has made phones in the past with the Google Play Store, including this phone I've got here to review, the Ep.190 Pro, which says on the box, on the back, and I'm not kidding, below the model says One Pro, 64 gigabytes. The subtext is, I'm not a phone, but a comprehensive mobile internet ecosystem. Okay. LETV has taken the ecosystem thing to like the nth degree.
That just rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah, their content hub is called Le Ecosystem.
Wow. Are you sure it's not LEECOSYSTEM?
I haven't actually explicitly checked the pronunciation guidelines for the Le Ecosystem.
I mean, everything that we know about their pronunciation is wrong, so you never know.
Yeah, so we played with the Le Max Pro, and it's a phone, and there's no anything you could tell about it significantly from touching it. It was just basically they were the first A20 phone. They were able to get free press off that fact, and we gave them the free press off the fact that it was the first A20 phone. There wasn't really much more to that story.
Well, we won't make any more of it then. Let's move on to tablets. The Huawei MediaPad M2 10.0 also announced at the show. So, did you get hands-on time with that one too, David?
Yeah, it's pretty boring.
It's a tablet.
It's just like the tab layout, the tab A10 whatever the bigger Galaxy Tab Samsung is doing. It's landscape. It's got a landscape fingerprint scanner, home button, but it's not a button. It's like the 1A9 or the OnePlus 2, where it's like just an indentation that's fingerprint scanners and also a capacitive key. It has 4 speakers.
Is it 4.3? Is it 4.3 or 16.9?
It has
Is it 4.3 or 16.9?
Yeah, it's 16.9, I think. Yeah, just trying to remember shape. Yeah, because it was 4/3, it'd be odd looking compared to how it did look. It runs Android 5.1, so I mean, blah. Other than that, there wasn't too much interesting about it. It had the 4-speaker setup, which I mean, I guess if you really want a loud tablet, you have to go listen to it. We weren't in a good environment to test the speakers, so we didn't. I mean, I turned them all the way up, and there were some guys up on stage that were really busy playing some music with their tablets, like using their tablets as keyboards, so I couldn't hear the speakers. So yeah.
If you're gonna put four speakers on there, you should at least make them angry rhombuses, though.
There are many things that I love about the Pixel C because it's just a great device. But one of the things that I really like about it is that it doesn't have a hardware button on the front.
Oh man, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, the hardware button thing is it's especially obnoxious because it uses software navigation buttons. So
oh my god. So it really is just a cop-out for a fingerprint sensor.
Yes. That's all it is. Yeah, so that's going to go on sale for $350 for the 16 gigabyte storage, 2 gigabyte RAM version, and there's a stylus version too. It has a stylus.
Did you get to mess with the stylus?
I didn't actually. We didn't notice until after we had left.
Because that seems like the most intriguing thing about it.
It seems note level quality. Like I said, 1024 levels of sensitive pressure. So yeah, it's not too exciting. But maybe if you want something like that, it doesn't seem bad. But Android 5.1, and will it ever get updated? Who knows?
Yeah, it seems. I don't know. I thought it looked like Samsung meets Apple. Like totally. That's what it reminded me of. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
that's kind of how it felt to me too. You know, just kind of less exciting than both in most ways. So, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way about a lot of Android tablets at this point, though. Except for maybe the Pixel C, which, by the way, I got my replacement Pixel C, so that's back on my desk now. Since we talked about how mine broke.
Because you put your keyboard cover on wrong.
Well, so here's the fun part about that. I tried for at least, I don't know, 30 minutes maybe to figure out how to get the old keyboard to pair with the new tablet, and the tablet would see it, and it would say that it was paired, but it would never connect, no matter what I did. So because there's no way that I could find to force the keyboard into pairing mode to repair it. I did everything that I could figure out, and I tried to Google it, and Google did not have an answer for me. And I looked at Pixel support, couldn't figure it out, so finally I just had a breakdown. They sent me a new keyboard with the replacement too, so I'll send the old keyboard and tablet back. But like, if they really made this to where there's not a way to easily pair it with a new tablet, that is ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely ridiculous. So, I mean, this thing, oh man, I've had such a poor experience when it comes to, it working well or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I just kind of hear David Attenborough. Pixel C keyboards are monogamous and mate for life.
That's, you know what, and that's exactly how I feel about this because, yeah, I feel like that's exactly how it was supposed to be because the new one paired up just fine. I thought maybe like I don't know. Anyway, the new one is working well and it's beautiful and I love using it and it's God man, so many issues that I've had with it just right out of the gate.
Bummer.
Anyway, back to CES stuff.
So,
Updates.
Hey, I just want to blow through these Android Wear things. So does anybody know anything about the I didn't get to see the Casio watch.
I'm excited about it. I know that much.
Yeah, so it says up to a month of battery life.
Okay,
so
so
that's really huge.
the month of battery life thing, that's when it uses the whatever, it's got two displays and one of them is I forget, I read it, but one of them is like, just black and white and it only shows the time. That's where the month of display comes into play. It's not full functionality.
Okay.
I mean,
so I assume
unlike
it probably even turns off the wireless stuff at that point. It's just
I
it's
assume
watch.
so. I don't know the details on that either.
Okay.
But it's I mean, I'm excited about it because I like the outdoor watches. That's why I'm still wearing the Smartwatch 3 because you can actually see it outside. None of the other watches I've used you can see outside. So the Casio looks like you're going to be able to see it outside. It's got built-in stuff for running and cycling and hiking and fishing, which I thought was really freaking weird. Like the other ones, I can understand how a watch would be helpful, but for fishing, I don't understand. But whatever, I don't have to understand, and I don't fish. So I don't know. I'm just excited because it's an outdoor watch and it has cycling support features out of the box. None of them are going to be as good as what Garmin is already doing, but it's still cool that it's there.
Are they saying this thing has a fish finder in it? Is that what they're trying to say?
I don't think that's what it is. It measures something to do with like the your motion during your cast and I don't know.
Okay.
It somehow tries to like turn fishing into an actual sport that is something that people who are into sports for fitness would be interested in. I don't know what the hell it is. It's really when I read it, I was like, this is really stupid.
I'm just imagining like the Dragon Ball radar, but with little fish on it.
I don't even know what does that even mean?
Huawei also announced two watches, which are the women's versions of the Huawei Watch. Same Huawei Watch. It just has the newer version of Android Wear with the voice support stuff pre-installed, or it will once they're released. And they start at a eminently reasonable $500. So yeah, I mean, Yeah, obviously they appeal to a different sensibility than the standard Huawei watches do, especially with the narrower straps. But they're still going to be pretty big.
So
Yeah. Well, they're even bigger than the original.
you're
That's
making a version
Yeah.
of an existing product targeted for women specifically, and then you make it more expensive than the counterpart, which now is implicitly targeted for men. That
Man,
seems like a poor decision.
Imagine all the women who already bought Huawei watches and how pissed they are right now.
That they aren't going to
They're like,
spend
"Damn
more
it,
money to buy
man.
the women's version.
I could have gotten the one for me. Or what about the guys who might have wanted the women's version? I mean, let's not forget about them.
I mean, that's fine.
They must feel like the guys who bought secret antiperspirant.
Yeah, I mean,
Not fully
I don't
realizing
know.
that it wasn't pH balanced for them.
I know. They were like, oh my god, this whole time. I had no idea.
My pH is totally out of whack.
My pH is so... Oh my god. Those poor guys. I feel bad for them. I feel like maybe they should...
Coincidentally, the Casio watch will also cost $500. So
That actually seems like it might even remotely be worth it. I mean, just if it... I don't know.
I mean, if it actually tracks fish, we'll talk.
If it makes fish jump into your boat.
I have already kind of voted myself for the review on that one, which I think kind of other people were in agreement because I actually go outside of my house, and unlike a lot of other people who I work with.
Are you roasting
every
one of your coworkers right now, Cam?
Am I what?
Are you just roasting the entire AP staff except for yourself?
I kind of am. I can't help that I'm the sporty one. Am I the sporty spice of Android police? Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I go outside at least twice a day, but that's mainly just because I only have a one-car garage and we have two cars.
Yeah, well, you know.
So.
Oh my god, I just called myself the sporty spice of Android police, but now I need to know who the rest of the Spice Girls are at AP. I vote Liam as Posh Spice. I'm just gonna put that out there right now.
I'll accept that.
I mean, I mean that in the best way.
Does that make David Scary Spice?
I'm trying to decide right now if I think David is actually more of a Ginger Spice. I'm sorry, David. You get to be Ginger Spice.
I could see that.
Okay.
Is Artem Scary Spice? Who's Scary Spice?
I think Artem might be Scary Spice. That's kind of what I was going. And that leaves Baby. And I'm trying to decide who would be Baby Spice. I really don't know. Maybe Ryan can be Baby Spice. He's the closest that I can think of.
Ryan won't care, so he can. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad we figured all that out.
Yeah.
I think we can move on to Android Auto now that we've accomplished that.
Yeah, there isn't too much to talk about here at CES. I mean, there were Pioneer has some new head unit models of Android Auto. I think Kenwood did some too, but we didn't post about those. And then Fiat Chrysler says, oh, Android Auto is coming to Uconnect in some new cars. Select new vehicles, which is code for, not all of them. Ford announced a more sweeping adoption of Android Auto. So existing 2015 model year vehicles with Sync 3, which includes quite a few models currently, will get Android Auto via a user installable upgrade. It can be done over the Sync Wi-Fi system once it does roll out. And then every Sync 3 vehicle released from here on out will have Android Auto, which will be quite a few 2016 model year vehicles. The first one is going to be the new 2016 Escape. And then there's going to go on from there. So yeah, good to know. The backwards compatibility is definitely the big thing for Ford there.
So I was kind of hoping that Pioneer would announce a head unit that was actually reasonably priced.
Yeah, no, that seems like an irrational hope to have.
It does. But you know what? In all honesty, I think there were some irrational hopes about the price of the Oculus Rift coming into CES, and that kind of got dashed with the $600 price point. So I think that made the next announcement, the Vive Pre announcement, a little bit more interesting because I don't know. Do you think there's any chance that HTC releases the Vive Pre at a 600 plus price point?
I don't think I've ever heard anybody pronounce it Vive.
I'm going to call it that.
It is the Vive.
Well, not anymore.
I think that historically on this podcast, we basically suck ass at pronouncing things correctly.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a running theme, I guess.
And I'm glad that that's our thing. Like,
I think
why did we cover the Vive Pre? Just because HTC made it?
I guess.
It's
not
because
really
it has
involved with
it has
Android.
nothing. It has literally has nothing to do with Android at all, as far as I'm aware.
But no, it's 2 degrees from Android because it's made by a company that makes Android devices. So there you go.
Right. I used the new Vive Pre. I've never used the first generation Vive, so I can't comment on the lighterness or comfierness of it versus the initial edition. The demos HTC had were pretty cool, and yeah, the HTC is still not announcing pricing. They wanted to give some more to developers, and I don't want to devote any more time to this because it's not about Android at all in any way.
I like the Vive though. It's cool.
It's great. I think it's pretty cool.
Yes.
Also, I remember that it used to be part of the Re line back when they were doing that. So had it still been part of that, it would now be called the Revive Pre.
That would have been a great name. And it actually would have made more sense now because it has a camera built into it.
Wait, what?
It has a camera in it.
Yeah, it's
Did
from
it
basic
have
camera
cameras?
to give you an. No, it didn't.
Oh, just sensors everywhere?
Yeah, it had the sensors could paint like a radar portrait of the room with a camera. You get a more textured picture, so you can have like a augmented overlay, so you don't run into stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a nifty idea.
Yeah, but HTC also had some health stuff. We didn't get the Samsung Smart Belt, unfortunately, but we got some interesting stuff from HTC and Under Armour. The Health Box, an activity tracker, and heart rate monitor. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to ask this. I'm going to be really honest. Is there anything else to say about smart gadgets that health track anymore? Like, what do these do differently than anything else that was announced for the last 3 CESs, other than the fact that they cost $400?
Yeah, there really isn't. There's not much information about this stuff. HTC was letting people touch them, but there wasn't really any opportunity to use any of these things. So we are not the fitness tracker police, and these seem like overpriced fitness tracking accessories. Don't get me wrong; they look really nice. They're pretty, and kind of cool looking. But for $400 for all, you could easily get devices that specifically fill these niches separately for substantially less money total.
Yeah, they just won't all work together. We were talking about that before that post went up. I'm like, I mean, I have a Bluetooth scale, and it wasn't nearly that much. Fitness trackers are not that much. And a heart rate monitor, you get a heart rate monitor for like $50-$60.
You could get all of that from Fitbit for, I want to say, about $250.
Yeah, I was going to say
Fitbit have a heart rate monitor?
They have the Charge HR, which has the heart rate monitor.
Oh yeah. Okay, so then you can't get it all. You can't get all of it from Fitbit, and it'll probably be nicer because Fitbit's app is pretty good.
It's crazy. I couldn't believe it when I saw the price. I was like, oh, it's just because it's got that Under Armour association.
Yeah,
that
pretty much.
automatically puts a premium on it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Under Armour stuff, but that shit's crazy overpriced for what this is.
Yeah, it seems like a branding exercise, and I trust HTC to support that ecosystem exactly none. So, yeah. It's not really their specialty.
Considering how well they supported the last fitness tracker that they released with Under Armour that never actually made it to stores. Yeah, so I think there's some valid concern there. But all right, so last was the Lenovo Link Yeah. The Lenovo Vive, the Lenovo Link USB drive, which has actually the ability to plug in to your USB port and plug your phone into it at the same time, which is pretty cool. But also companion apps that allow you to kind of do the whole like window in a window control your phone on your computer thing, which is cool. I don't know if there's anything to add to it other than that. It does those things, and that's pretty cool in and of itself. Like $40 out the door. So
it's very interesting. I'm not sure if they were actually demoing it, but the idea is very cool. No doubt about it. Assuming it works like they say it works, which is, kind of a leap. So we'll have to see if it does that, which I don't know if it does.
I'm trying to think. Did Lenovo ever do any of those? Do any of the all-in-one stuff where you could pull the screen apart and it becomes a tablet or anything like that? I'm trying to think because I know Asus did some stuff that you wouldn't think would work very well, but it actually worked really, really well, and I just don't know that anybody else has had kind of that experience.
Wait, ask that again?
I'm just trying to remember if Lenovo did any of the all-in-ones with like the removable screen tablet thing.
You mean like the Transformer?
Well, sort of. The Transformer last year at CS or the year before, everybody was announcing the computers you could just like take the monitor off and it became a tablet.
Oh, are we talking about Windows?
It was They were Windows, and then they would have Android on them running on a separate chipset, so that they weren't violating the whole dual boot thing that they said you weren't allowed to do.
Oh, I don't remember those. Those seem like a terrible gimmick.
Yeah.
I don't think Lenovo did anything like that. I'm not sure though.
Well, let's just forget that I even brought it up because this is actually not leading to any good conversation whatsoever, and we could just. We can just move on to Google Cast-enabled speakers getting multi-room support. So this is apparently a thing that's coming soon, this year, 2016. I don't know that I fully understand. So the Chromecast audio already does this, right? Or
yes.
So this is just extending that to Google Cast-enabled speakers. So
yes. So and we also talked to Romfield, who make overpriced speakers with a German name on them. And their Google Cast-enabled speakers, they said they'll get the multi-room thing. I think they actually said this spring, but it looks like other people are being less. Looks like Google's being less explicit and just saying this year. So it will happen, and that's good. It's kind of annoying that it didn't work right to begin with, but it'll get there, I guess.
That should be an out-of-the-box feature. For that.
It wasn't for the puck either, so I guess they've got to go through and do the.
Yeah. Well, they said that the Chromecast audio would get it in early 2016, and it had it before the end of 2015. So I don't think it's that difficult of an that difficult to implement what it is. That was kind of non-news anyway, because it's like
You assume they're going to get it.
It could have been assumed that it would have happened. I expected it even.
Yeah, well, the thing that seems weird is you can do so if you have two speakers in the same room, can't you have them both casting the same audio? Like, why wouldn't you be able to do it with two speakers in two different rooms?
Well, because those two speakers would be hooked up to the same hub device or whatever.
Ah, I gotcha. Okay.
And this is so if you have different hubs or if you have speakers that are freestanding on different stereos or whatever.
Gotcha. All right.
Well,
hey,
that's the deal.
Let's talk a little bit about John Legere. Speaking of the mispronunciation thing, I've gotten to the point where I just don't even want to pronounce his name right, and I haven't for a really long time. So I deal with it, I guess. So John Legere had some interesting stuff coming out this week regarding the EFF and their throttling, and I guess you could say it didn't go too well for our boy John.
It didn't. So the backstory here is this. So, Binge On, the new program on T-Mobile that allows you to stream as much video as you want for, quote, partnered services. If you also allow T-Mobile to limit the bandwidth available to your phone for video streaming while you're on LTE to around 1.5 megabits a second, and also partnered services will automatically scale to 480p, which may, I'm not sure how that works in light of the 1.5 megabits, because T-Mobile is not discussing mechanisms. Big surprise. So what happened is then the EFF published an article, and they did independent testing of the throttling and found that for all non-partnered sites, you're basically hitting a ceiling of 1.5 megabits a second of video stream speed capability. And they also asked T-Mobile if there's any actual optimization going on to the video, and T-Mobile said no. It's just they're just restricting the size of the pipe to video content, and that's throttling. And then John Ledger tried to do his whole bad boy CEO thing, and just shout at the EFF and people who questioned him to bring out the T-Mobile fanboys, and until the issue kind of went away, or people conceded. Except he's really wrong for once, and by saying who the fuck is the EFF, he got a lot of more responses than I think he anticipated. Most of them negative.
Yes. He got trolled pretty good. That was I don't know if anybody saw the I don't know if anybody saw the little exchange on Twitter between some user Mattel or
yeah, he's a free open software developer or whatever. He's a big time EFF supporter, unsurprisingly.
Oh, gotcha.
So
but,
that thing was pretty funny.
That was pretty good. He was asking T-Mobile's support on Twitter for help because his friend was having a hard time loading up some websites and trying to do some research, and they provided him with a phone number to call to get assistance, and then he tweeted at John Legere saying, "Hey, T-Mobile says you can call this phone number to help find information about the EFF."
It's substantially funnier if you read the series of tweets. It was definitely a pretty good burn.
Yeah.
And what else? Today, another partner with Binge On, probably mostly out of opportunistic press, said they were dropping their partnership with Binge On because of John Ledger's comments about the EFF, which I kind of doubt other companies care if they're partnered with this to begin with. But it does send a bit of a message, and I don't think John Ledger's got himself argued into a corner here, so he can either just hope it goes away, which based on his Twitter feed today seems to be the strategy, or they can apologize and make Binge On opt out, which I really don't think they'll do because investors won't like that because their video usage on the network will go back up and scalability will go down, so that would be a problem. I would not be surprised if the FCC ends up weighing in on this.
He just needs to optimize the problem with a proprietary software solution. Right?
Yeah. Next week, John Ledger asks, "Who the fuck is the FCC? Who pays you?"
I feel like so accepting questions and saying let's have a dialogue about this is great, except when your answer to someone posing a legitimate question is why are you stirring up so much trouble? Right?
Yeah,
that doesn't seem like a healthy decision.
That's the kind of thing you might expect from say a small country dictator.
Dude, you totally
I'm
just
open
said
to
small
questions
dick.
from the people. Did you say? Are you criticizing something I'm doing? Why would you ask that kind of question? Some men will be at your house shortly with a bag. That's kind of, I feel like that would be the John Ledger government. Everything's great. Just don't say anything isn't great, because everything's great.
Just as long as you recognize.
Yeah. So that's been a pretty interesting ordeal, and John Ledger has not been endearing himself to anybody through it. So yeah.
So yeah.
A moment of silence.
A
A
moment
moment
of silence for John Ledger's carefully cultivated public persona.
Yes.
I was gonna say his ego, but that's yours was even better.
I mean,
so-
has it been carefully cultivated?
It's so fake. I mean, it's got to be. It's marketing. I bet he came up with this and was like, that this is, his thing. I really doubt he's that boisterous in reality. He hams it up explicitly to play up the fans and employees and for the press. And I just think it's more and more. I just think it's at least, if not mostly, then very significantly an act more than it is an actual representation of.
I mean, I don't want to say too much about this, but it seemed like a lot of his video responses were very much like the salesy, like I'm going to talk around this in a way that makes it sound good kind of.
Yep.
Yeah, very much so.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I kind of got this feeling about him, a while ago, and with Uncarrier X and the way he responded to questions and stuff at that, and then with this, I feel like T-Mobile has done this thing where they've built up all of this this equity from customers, trust in the brand and everything, and slowly they're just cashing it in, and little by little chipping away at the they're just cashing in on this trust they've built with customers, and by taking things away slowly and by framing them the right way, you can get people to give up things that they once took for granted, as long as you're careful with how you word it. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this continues to unfold, and whether T-Mobile thinks they can get even more aggressive with things like Ben John and things that have controversial aspects to them versus just being universally better for customers. Period. It's easy to make things that are actually good, good, but things like this, T-Mobile is finding it's a lot harder once people figure out if there's a spin to something. Generally, people are going to eventually notice it. These are just a matter of time. And on this one, it did take the larger internet a little while to get there, but everybody seems to be on that page now. Aside from T-Mobile fans, such as they are.
Are there people that are like getting to Twitter and just like completely defending it, or is
there are some people who are. I mean, they drink the Kool-Aid.
So
big time.
Yeah, I definitely saw people who were saying like it's okay because it's a benefit to the customer, which so that statement alone is dubious enough, but to think that something that might be circumventing net neutrality is okay because some people find value in it seems like a dangerous attitude.
Yeah, it's the more I think about Ben John, it presents a very good case of the slippery slope problem when it comes to net neutrality issues like this, and it doesn't. There are very few steps to get to a point where something like Ben John is actually very much against net neutrality and very much a problem. So I think that they need to be. I hope that the FCC does get involved with this one because it's not. I don't think it's. In the end, customers are getting something more today, potentially, but tomorrow they're essentially acquiescing to similar behavior, especially from other carriers too, that might not be so forgiving in terms of having an off button at all. So I'm very very wary of how this unfolds at this point.
Be interesting to see it play out. All right, so let's talk a little bit about BlackBerry, because obviously we've done reviews of BlackBerry phones running Android on the show. I think it was probably when the first rumors started going out that BlackBerry was working on a new Android phone, it was probably foregone conclusion, I guess, that BlackBerry would be doing away with the BlackBerry OS. But I guess now we have some official news on the subject matter.
We do, and they're gonna stop making BlackBerry OS, which nobody cares anymore. So I still have my doubts that BlackBerry will be making phones 2 years from now, but they're going to try with the Android stuff. So didn't they say there's a rumor their next one would be an old the candy bar style again, so with a fixed keyboard and then a smaller screen.
Yeah, there was some leaks about that several weeks ago. I don't know.
That would make sense to be the next place to go. That's their their key form factor. So we'll see what happens. I mean, their version of Android is pretty close to stock, and we'll see how long it takes them to update the Priv to Marshmallow. That's gonna be the thing to watch, I think.
Yeah, because they have no idea, like, what, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't, whenever I think of BlackBerry, I just think of a bunch of out-of-touch old guys. So what do they really know about, updating phones and what people actually want? But maybe that's just me being, I don't know, judgmental. I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm an asshole.
Artem, we were deciding who was which Spice Girl earlier, and Artem just chimed in, and he has claimed Ginger Spice. So.
Oh, okay. So Artem is Ginger Spice, and David, you have now been. You're scary. You're Scary Spice.
I guess so. So it is.
So, well, okay then.
So there's last piece of CES news. I mean, I don't know how much we even want to talk about this, but Lenovo has the first Project Tango smartphone aimed at consumers. How do you aim a Project Tango smartphone at consumers?
Is it really?
That's the question.
Like, I read that, but do you think it really is? What are consumers going to do with Tango right now, is my question.
Lenovo's like, no, actually, we're just going to build one, and we're going to go outside and aim it at some consumers, and we're going to augment the reality.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're going to scan consumers by aiming the camera at them. I mean, I guess they showed, like, Jenga, so cool.
Oh, boy.
Jenga on a real table. It's almost like playing real Jenga on an actual table.
Much worse. Have you ever wanted to play Jenga, but just think picking up the blocks is too much hassle? Hey, our Jenga, which is demonstrably shittier in every other way, is here for you.
To be fair, setting the initial setup is a pain in the butt. I mean, usually like it's that way in the box. You just take it out of the box, it's ready to go. But then you finish a game, the thing falls down, and you got to set it up to play again. That's I don't know. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, well, then you may want this Project Tango smartphone aimed at consumers by Lenovo.
Project Tango is just one of those things that just seems really cool, but why? It's just, I don't know, it's not a product that I don't think consumers will ever really see a high amount of value in. It's kind of like putting the 4 front-facing cameras on the Amazon phone. It's just, look at the cool things that you can do with these cameras, but nobody's ever going to do them. It's just...
Yeah, I mean, well, that's obviously Google's hope, is that Project Tango will be something that people do something with, but I don't know. I mean, maybe when VR really starts to take off more, AR can, ride the coattails in terms of some of the technologies and practical limitations, overcoming them and stuff. But yeah, I'd be interested to try the phone out, but I'm gonna guess it's gonna be like 2 or 3 demos, and then otherwise it's like just mostly for developers. I'm not even sure which developers. Some.
I guess if developers buy a developer kit, then they're a consumer, right?
They're true. They're consuming development.
Look at that. I just rationalized this whole thing.
Boom.
All makes sense now. All makes sense. All right, so one last story to get to. Fire Stick 2015 Lightning review. Lightning mainly because it's in most ways the same as last year's, right, Kim?
And basically everywhere. Every way. It's the Fire TV Stick. This year's Fire TV Stick is the same thing as last year's Fire TV Stick. Literally the same thing. The only difference is this year there's an option to bundle it with the voice remote for $10 more, which I highly recommend doing. I honestly think that the Fire TV Stick, I wasn't that impressed with this year's Fire TV because it's really buggy. They may have fixed it now, but when I reviewed it, it was really buggy and slow, and it would hang, and it wasn't a very good experience. I didn't have any of that with Fire TV Stick. It's slower. I mean, when the new Fire TV works, it's really fast. But I don't know. The Fire TV Stick was stable and predictable, and I like that. The voice remote is nice now that it has voice actions and Alexa. So Yeah, I mean it's $50 with the voice remote. It's if you want something minimal and I think a little more full featured than a Chromecast, which there was some discussion about that in the comments, some arguments about me calling it more robust than Chromecast. Look, you can argue it all you want. It's really, I mean, I guess technically it's a matter of opinion, but I think that fumbling around with my phone to use a Chromecast is just a pain in the ass in my book. I'd rather have a remote. Some people are like, no, I don't want another remote. I'm like, that's fine. If you don't want another remote, that's cool. I like having the remote better. I just think everything's easier to use when it has its own dedicated interface and I don't have to do things from my phone.
I have a different perspective on the remote question.
Okay.
And maybe, I mean, I'm a weird user, so like maybe this is not representative of anybody. But I feel like TV devices are trying too hard to build an interface that like works on the TV screen, and like the idea of using an interface that's closer to my face by being on the phone just makes more sense to me as being something that's like easy, especially when it comes to like typing with a D-pad. Like that's a terrible experience.
No, that is absolutely always the worst, most frustrating part for me.
Sure.
It seems like just a really easy out to put the input and most of the interface on the phone. But
to me, I just it pisses me off because I don't like tying my phone up to do other like if I got something casting and I want to watch a YouTube video. It just I don't know. I just don't like it.
You still do that?
I don't think it works very well for families, to be honest. Like the whole control with your phone thing. If you have a family where everybody's like 12 or older and they all have their own phones or whatever, sure. But
yeah, so that's
the thought of having to give my phone to somebody so that they can watch something on the TV or I don't know. It's a great idea, I think, for like single people and for couples, but families, I just don't think it works very well. And the fact, and also, just so we're clear, the interface for Fire TV is also on your phone. It's not like you're giving up one for the other. So because there's an app you can control it from your phone, it does everything. So it's not like it's an either or. I think you can have it both ways.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. And don't get me wrong, I love Chromecast. I think Chromecast is great. I just think if somebody's looking for one device and they want to spend don't want to spend more than $50, that if I don't want to say somebody asked if I think that Fire TV is better or Fire TV Stick is better than Cast, which I don't. I think they're kind of parallel to each other. Just depends on what the user wants. If you want the remote, then Fire TV Stick. If you would rather do it from your phone, Chromecast, because they're equally as good as each other. So anyway, the new Fire TV Stick, which is technically the old Fire TV Stick with a different remote, it's fine. It's good. It's worth $50. I liked it. Had a good experience with it. So there you go. If you don't want a remote, then buy a Chromecast.
I would also say that if you're gonna buy it, spend the extra bucks, get the remote, because I'm not gonna say anything about the voice remote because I've never actually used it, but I can tell you the remote that comes with the Fire Stick TV by default is just really chintzy, garbagey, crappy.
Yeah, it's tiny. It's a pain in the ass. I mean, there is an app though, so you can use the app to do voice stuff. But again, I don't know. I just have this weird thing about not wanting to use my phone with my TV. It's just, I don't understand why. The only time I ever use it is with my Roku when I need to type, and I grab the Roku remote app and use the keyboard on my phone because, like Liam said, using a D-pad to type is just, oh my god, it's so frustrating. It is so frustrating.
It is very slow.
It drives me insane. I hate it. Especially, it's like, oh, enter your email. I'm sorry, my name is like 38,000 characters long. It takes me half an hour just to sign into something. So, I don't know. That's a whole different argument. It has nothing to do with Fire TV Stick. In its own right, Fire TV Stick is awesome.
All right, so let's move on to emails. We actually had an interesting email. We actually had somebody email in an audio file with a question in it. So, David, I don't know if you
Really? They fit an audio file into an email?
They did.
I wasn't aware you could email really annoying people, but
You can, in
I will
fact.
play it. All right. So yes, this question is from Jason, and here it goes.
And I have a question for you. Back when they went on sale, I purchased an unlocked version of the Nexus 6. And I really enjoy the phone, except for one thing. I never got Marshmallow on it, at least through an OTA. I waited and waited, and it never came. Now, one thing I'm wondering is, I did use a AT&T SIM through Straight Talk, and I do see that the AT&T variant of the phone doesn't have an OTA yet. So, does that matter if I have an unlocked phone? I did eventually go ahead and manually update to Marshmallow, which I thought would fix the problem. Then I get OTAs from there, except I haven't gotten OTAs after that either. So I'm currently behind on 2 of the security patches as well as 6.0.1. Any thoughts you guys have would be greatly appreciated, because I really don't want to have to manually update my phone every time a new version comes out, at least unless I have to wait for an official AT&T OTA, although I thought that an unlocked version would avoid that kind of thing, but maybe I thought wrong. So any input you guys have would be great. Thank you so much.
So, oh, sorry, I muted myself. So the thing with this is, AT&T does this with all of their phones, but the way the Nexus 6 works, it's not based on whether you bought it from AT&T, as far as I know. It's just based on what carrier you're provisioned to.
Yep. I can verify that. I have an unlocked Nexus 6 on AT&T. I have never gotten a single OTA. I have to flash every one of them manually if I care enough to do it.
And I don't even think you can remove the SIM card and reboot, and because it basically is cached at that point. That's the network you're on, I think. But I don't remember last time I tested that. What you could do, if you had a deactivated T-Mobile or other carrier SIM and stuck that in there and then rebooted the phone, I bet your updates would show up. But not 100% on that. I think that's what you normally could do to circumvent this. But yeah, AT&T's an asshole. Is basically the TLDR there.
Yep. Totally it. I had to flash Marshmallow. I've had to manually flash every security patch, and it is really frustrating. Really.
So you have to either do have an unlocked booter and do a dirty flash of the images, or wait for the zip files to show up for the OTAs. And
I always dirty flash.
The dirty flash is easy because it comes out immediately. And but the OTAs, if you were willing to wait, they always eventually do come out, and those just work as if your phone received it over the air. Unfortunately, it's AT&T's fault, and I'm guessing because the Straight Talk probably Google probably just sees a Straight Talk AT&T SIM as an AT&T SIM. They probably see all AT&T MVNOs the same way. So yeah.
There you go. I'll be honest with you. It seems like whenever Verizon was doing this with the Galaxy Nexus, that it was a way bigger deal than what it is with AT&T now.
I think everybody just got used to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good guy Verizon getting you used to crappy updated broadcast. That's awesome. Thanks, Verizon. All right, so we have an email from William. He says, "Why do you guys think that there are no equivalents to John Gruber, Marco Arment, etc. for Google and/or Android? There are sites like Android Police, of course, but they tend to be larger operations as opposed to bloggers and tend to focus on news and reviews as opposed to analysis and opinion. I know that the Apple fan base is bigger than Google's, but you would think there would be at least one prominent counterpart to the Apple-centric blogosphere."
But just 1 second, just going back for a moment, Ron, who is in the Android Police podcast chat tonight, suggested that you can get a Project Pi SIM card for free, and if you pop that in your Nexus 6, that will probably reset the APN and the provisioning, and you'll be able to get updates as normal. So back to our regularly scheduled email.
So this is an interesting question. I think my instinct is that it's hard to identify such a personality from inside the community. So if there is someone like that, I don't know who it is, and I'm not sure that I could identify them. But at the same time, I'm also almost positive that there is someone like that.
Oh, J.R. Raphael?
Maybe.
These people emerged from the community anyway, so I don't
Yeah.
see it as like.
I mean,
see it
the
as-
other thing is that Microsoft and Apple been around a lot longer, so they've had these, these cultures of coverage that have emerged around them. That have just Google hasn't been. Android especially has not been around that long at all.
True. As Ron notes, leaving out of this response the question of whether it's good to have these personalities in the community or not.
That's kind of where the direction I was thinking too. Like, we don't have those kind of people. I am glad.
Also, to be fair, the release cycle is a little different for Android phones compared to Apple devices. So you're kind of forced to spend a little bit more time talking about hardware and models of phones and things when there's new ones coming out as often as they do. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about Microsoft from an overarching sense, or Apple from an overarching sense, there's a lot more time between releases to analyze nuance and very carefully tear things apart, because they just don't, on the consumer side at least, they're not releasing or doing as many. In the Android world, there are so many things to cover. It's very scattered. It's hard to be super focused on Android without being lightly focused on all parts of Android. It's because there's so much happening. Whereas with Apple and Microsoft, fairly well-defined positions in the consumer market.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this show this week. If you would like to email in your questions or apparently audio files, people that listen to audio or the the WAV or MP3 or whatever. If you want to send us anything at all, really, antique questions or anything along those lines, podcast@androidpolice.com is the way to do it. We are getting a notification barrage through somebody whose microphone isn't muted.
That'd be me.
Yeah, I know, because it switches to you, so I actually knew that. But anyways, podcast@androidpolice.com, Twitter @androidpolice, and on Google Plus and Facebook.
And stuff.
And stuff.
And stuff.
So yeah, okay, I'm going to stop the broadcast, I guess. I'm really tired. So
I'm just fucking starving, so I think I'm gonna go.
alright.
I'm gonna go eat food.
You do
Yes,
that.
go eat food. That's important.
All right,
Go eat
guys.
food. I'm out.
David,
Deuces.
Have fun with your gold 6p.
I will.
I'll have-
it's right here.
I'll have fun
so
with
love
your
it.
Pixel C.
So nice.
I'll send you an update later about how great the Pixel C is.
Okay, I'll reply to it from my gold 6p.
Okay.
I'm gonna make that my email signature. Send it from my gold Nexus 6p.
Please make your profile image on every site just a picture of your face with the gold 6p.
All right. Bye.